Did you know that over 5 billion people now use mobile phones, and a huge chunk of them are switching to 5G for its lightning-fast speeds? The demand for affordable 5G options is skyrocketing. The POCO M7 Plus is an aggressively priced budget to mid-range 5G phone that doubles down on battery life and a large, high-refresh LCD, a great pick for long battery users and media consumers. It brings a 7,000 mAh battery, a big 6.9 Full HD+ plus 144Hz display, and a Snapdragon 6's Gen 3 chipset, all at a price that undercuts many rivals. If you want the longest battery life for streaming and light to moderate gaming in this price band, it's a strong value. However, its camera in low light is merely average, and the large size will not suit everyone. 1. What this phone is, and who it's for. The POCO M7 Plus targets budget-conscious buyers who value battery life, a large smooth display, and 5G connectivity more than a compact form factor, flagship camera performance, or ultra-fast charging. It's ideal as a secondary, travel phone for long use between charges. A budget streaming/gaming device, screen plus battery prioritized. Buyers who want 5G on a very tight budget. If you want the absolute best still camera experience, compact pocketability, or the fastest charging speeds available, other phones in slightly higher price tiers will serve you better. 2. Price and availability. India context. POCO launched the M7 Plus in India in mid-August 2025, and it has been sold via POCO's site, Flipkart and major e-commerce marketplaces since launch. Street and sale prices vary by RAM/storage variant and festive offers, typical in India, but typical launch price ranges were very competitive, and by late November 2025 you can find it in the Rs 12,000 15,000 rupees band depending on offers and variant. Always check current retailer listings for flash deals. 3. Design and build. Look and feel. The M7 Plus is unmistakably a modern budget POCO, large footprint, slim but tall proportions due to 6.9 inches panel, and plastic frame/back expected at this price. The device has a quad curve design for comfort in hand, but given the size and 217 grams listed weight, it's better for two-handed use. Colors and finishing. Typical colorways such as chrome silver, carbon black and aqua blue market dependent. The finish is glossy on higher trims and shows fingerprints. You'll likely want the bundled case if included. Durability. No IP rating mentioned in official specs, treated as a non-waterproof phone common at this price. Verdict. Comfortable for media use but large and somewhat heavy for pocket carry. Looks modern for the price. 4. Display, quality and real-world use. Specs, 6.9-inch Full HD+ plus roughly 1080 x 2340 resolution, up to 144Hz refresh rate, IPS/LCD panel, peak brightness figures listed around 850 nits high brightness mode. Touch sampling can be high. POCO lists up to 288Hz touch sampling in some retailer pages. Real use, the combination of large diagonal plus 144Hz produces smooth UI interactions and fluid scrolling. Video playback. Netflix or YouTube will look sharp at Full HD, though HDR experience is limited on LCD versus AMOLED. Contrast and deep blacks won't match AMOLED phones. Peak brightness is decent for outdoor readability but struggles slightly in very bright direct sun compared to flagship olds. Gaming, touch responsiveness. High refresh plus good touch sampling make it pleasant for FPS and rhythm games. Expect visible smoothness improvements versus 60Hz competitors. Verdict, one of the strongest display offerings in the price bracket, excellent for gaming and streaming, but if you want punchy colors and true deep blacks, look at AMOLED alternatives. 5. Performance and benchmarks. Chipset, Qualcomm Snapdragon 6's Gen 3, 6 nanometers. The chipset is a competent mid-range SoC that balances efficiency and performance for everyday tasks and light to moderate gaming. RAM, storage, configurations commonly include 4, 6, 8 GB RAM and 64, 128 GB storage plus microSD expansion on many listings. Check variant. UFS 2.2 on storage and many variants. Speed adequate for the class. Real world. Day-to-day, smooth for browsing, social apps, video, multitasking with modest app counts. Gaming, can run mainstream titles PUBG/Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin's lower settings at playable frame rates. Expect medium settings in heavier titles. Thermals are reasonable thanks to an efficient chip and POCO's thermal tuning, but long gaming sessions will show throttling versus higher-tier silicon. Benchmarks. Reported public scores vary by test and review, mid-range class scores that beat older Snapdragon 6 series chips but remain behind upper mid-range SoCs. 91 mobile/other testing indicates solid real-world performance for the price. Verdict: very good for everyday use and casual gaming in this price band. Not a flagship performer, but it outpaces cheaper 4G chips and trades blows with other Snapdragon 6 series devices. 6. Cameras, hardware and image quality. Hardware: primary 50MP main sensor f/1.8, plus a secondary sensor for depth/macro/ultra-wide depending on region. POCO lists an AI dual camera module and an 8MP front selfie camera on retailer pages. Typical budget optics, competent in daylight. Daylight: reliable and punchy colors in daylight with good detail. HDR works reasonably to save highlights. Good for social-ready shots. Low light, night: the camera struggles compared to higher-tier phones, noise, softer details and limited dynamic range at night. Night mode helps but not magic. Review consensus: Indian reviewers points to average low-light performance, acceptable for social use but not for photography enthusiasts. Selfies and video: selfies are okay for social posts. Video stabilization is basic electronic stabilization on some modes, so don't expect gimbal-level steadiness. Verdict: cameras are solid for daylight snaps and social media. Don't buy the M7 Plus expecting night-class camera performance. 7. Battery and charging. Battery: 7,000 mAh. This is the headline spec and the phone's strongest selling point. Expect multi-day battery life under light use and full day plus under heavy use. Realistic daily endurance is excellent. Streaming, gaming, and browsing are all forgiving on battery due to the huge capacity and efficient soak. Charging: retail listings show 33 watts fast charging and sometimes reverse charging capabilities, 18 watts reverse on similar devices in the family. Expect charging times to be longer than flagship 65/80ths of a watt phones due to battery size, but the included charger, if it's 33 watts, will replenish a large amount overnight or during breaks. Exact bundled adapter varies by market. Confirm what's in the box. Verdict: outstanding endurance. If battery longevity is your top priority, this phone excels. 8. Software and updates. OS: ships with Android 15 and POCO's Hyper OS or POCO customized MIUI variant depending on region and time, delivering modern features and the latest Android as of launch. POCO's software includes feature customizations and memory expansion virtual RAM options. Bloat-in experience: as with many budget phones from Xiaomi/POCO, expect pre-installed apps and occasional ads in system apps unless you opt out or tweak settings. Performance-wise, Hyper OS is light and responsive on the M7 Plus. Verdict: up-to-date Android version at launch. Keep an eye on POCO's update cadence if long-term OS updates are important to you. 9. Connectivity and extras. 5G support: yes, Snapdragon 6's Gen 3 provides 5G connectivity for supported bands. Model variants and supported bands may vary by market. Double-check the local SKU for specific 5G bands if you rely on carrier compatibility. Other, typical extras like side-mounted fingerprint scanner or under display on some models. Check SKU. Dual SIM, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and headphone jack availability vary by market/variant. Consult the product page for exact details. 10. Benchmarks and numbers published. Benchmarks vary by testing site and configuration. Reported real-world battery runtime and Antutu. Synthetic scores place the M7 Plus comfortably in the mid-range class, better than older Snapdragon 4/6XX chips and competitive with other Snapdragon 6's Gen 3 phones. Retailer test pages show long battery life, PC mark numbers and Antutu class scores in line with expectations for this chip. Use published benchmarks as a guideline rather than an absolute. 11. Comparisons: who it competes with. Against Redmi 15 or Redmi 15 5G or any other 7,000 mAh phones, POCO usually competes aggressively on price. The M7 Plus's 144Hz panel and POCO branding/optimizations lean toward gamers/streamers. Feature parity in battery and display puts it close to Redmi 15 variants. Differences come down to software preference and price. Against phones with AMOLED displays, if you want punchier colors and deeper blacks, phones with AMOLED in a slightly higher price bracket may be better choices, but you'll sacrifice battery capacity or pay more. Against more expensive mid-range phones, flagships or upper mid-range phones will beat the POCO M7 Plus in camera, charging speed, and raw performance, but cost appreciably more. Verdict: best-in-class battery and a standout display for the price. Trade-offs are camera low light in the bulk. 12. Pros and cons. Pros: massive 7,000 mAh battery, multi-day use possible. Big 6.9 inches Full HD+, plus 144Hz display, smooth UI in gaming. 5G capable Snapdragon 6's Gen 3, modern mid-range SoC. Very competitive pricing for the feature set. Cons: large and somewhat heavy, not pocket-friendly for everyone. Camera performance in low light is only average. Charging speed is decent but not class-leading relative to high-wattage rivals, and full charge time is longer because of battery size. No official IP water/dust rating. 13. Practical daily use notes tips. Use dark mode and lower refresh rate if you want the absolute maximum battery lifespan between charges. If you game heavily, try medium settings in demanding titles for a balance of frame rate and heat. Carry a protective case. The phone's large size increases chances of drops, and glossy backs show fingerprints. Check the box contents at purchase. Confirm the charger wattage included, market dependent. 14. Final verdict: who should buy it? Buy the POCO M7 Plus if you want maximum battery life in a modern 5G phone for a budget price. You watch a lot of video or play games casually and value a smooth 144Hz large screen. You want a very competitive price to feature ratio for day-to-day use. Skip it if you prioritize compact design, best-in-class camera performance especially night photography, or ultra-fast charging. You need guaranteed water resistance or a particularly light/pocketable device. Overall, the POCO M7 Plus is a clear value play. It focuses on the basics users care most about: battery plus screen plus 5G, and offers them at a lower price than many rivals. For users who prize endurance and a big, fluid display over photographic excellence, it's one of the most compelling buys in its segment. In my opinion, the POCO M7 Plus is one of the top affordable 5G phones on the market today. It offers an excellent balance of performance, features, and price, making it a great option for budget-conscious consumers. I'd give it a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I think it's definitely worth considering if you're in the market for a new phone. If you're a fan of budget-friendly phones with impressive specs, then the POCO M7 Plus is definitely worth checking out. It's perfect for those who want a 5G experience without breaking the bank. I've really enjoyed using the M7 Plus, and I think it's a great option for anyone looking for an affordable 5G phone. If you want to learn more about the POCO M7 Plus or other affordable 5G phones, be sure to check out my other videos. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the M7 Plus, so be sure to share them in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more reviews and tech content.